Yeah, we've got that capability. Certainly, we got to do it for another. I don't know how many games are left in the year now, 8, 9 in this regular season, but yeah, we got some work to do still, and yeah, but we've certainly got that capability. I think that's kind of been something we've talked about in the offseason is history and how great we can be. And
what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Please like the video and subscribe. Our target is only 1,000 likes. So Jared Goff stood on the sideline wearing a baseball cap in the fourth quarter while his teammates finished off another route. Goff threw 2 of his 4 touchdown passes to St. Brown. David Montgomery and Gibbs combined for 3 rushing touchdowns, and the Detroit Lions beat the Jacksonville Jaguars with a final score of 52-6. Just like Goff did when the Lions had lopsided wins over Tennessee and Dallas last month, he watched as Hooker took snaps to gain experience. The NFC leading Lions have won 8 straight and 9 of their first 10 games in a season for the first time since 1934. The Lions' winning margin of 46 points was the largest in franchise history, and it handed Jacksonville its biggest ever defeat.
And we know the group we have, we know what our capabilities are, and today was a good example of that.
You ever been part of something like this? 7 straight touchdowns?
I've been on the other side of that, but no, I don't know if I've done it on offense, 7 straight, no.
What is that feeling like when just everything seems to be working?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. We were moving the ball pretty good. I thought our run game was really good. Our pass game obviously was pretty good too, and everything's working. It felt as if Ben could kind of call anything, and we were going to make it work, and our guys showed up today.
Jared, with all the pieces out there, do you sometimes feel like an orchestra conductor? Like you literally, it seems like you could go any which way you want, and then do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think that's the challenge every week is really trying to get everyone involved and make sure that we're spreading the ball around. And I'm not really conscious of it during the game, but throughout the week of practice, you're thinking about it. And then once the game starts, I've said it before, I'm kind of just playing point guard, trying to find the open guy, get it to him. We threw a check down to Gibbs that goes for 53. It's a luxury to have those 2 guys in the backfield that when 1, 2, and 3 down the field are covered, you go down to them, and it's usually good things are happening.
Can you speak to your mindset this week? You talked last week, you said after coming off a 5 interception game, you have to dig deep. Your mindset entering this weekend, coming right, bouncing back with a game like this.
Yeah.
Speak about that this week.
Yeah, last week was tough, but I was confident in the way I played and what I knew had happened and what went wrong and what to fix and all the things, and so I wasn't dwelling on it. I knew I had to come out today and pick up where I left off and then just keep on going, and those guys rallied behind me and distributed to them as well as I could.
We talked to Dan just a minute ago about when in a game like this it kind of gets out of reach, when's the right time to take out your star player, top player.
Yeah.
How do you look at that? I mean, you just wait until he calls you and never think about it,
Yeah, I don't think about it, nor do I really think there is a right or a wrong answer to that. It's quite the luxury to have in the NFL to be able to take out players ever. So if we're able to do that, great. If we don't, great. We don't care.
When he took you out, did you still want to go back in?
I was good. I'll play if he wants me to. If we're up by 45 or whatever we were, I'm good to take a rest and let Hendon go.
You really found Saint a lot early. Was that just a matchup that you like coming into this one, or is it just a case of he's always open?
He's just that guy, man. I think we did see some, possibilities to kind of recalibrate ourselves this week and get back on the same page where we want to be, and he's certainly a big part of that. And felt like towards the end there we could kind of call anything, and he was going to get himself open, and he came in this week ready to go, and it showed up.
Did you get a sense, Ben Johnson talked about earlier this week, that he wanted to get back to dominance, and did you get a sense this was coming?
Yeah, we wanted to. Yeah, you never know. We that was our intent this week, was to, like I said, recalibrate and get back to who we know we can be. I think, even going back all the way to Tennessee, we really didn't have many opportunities. I know we won by a lot of points, but there wasn't opportunities for longer drives there. And then you go to Green Bay, and the weather kind of stymies you in some ways. And then obviously last week what happened. So we kind of were like, all right, we need to get back to what we do: long drives, long, big, explosive plays. And it was certainly the intent this week.
Jared, you obviously got unscrambled a few times, but
how about that?
Within the pocket, though, are you feeling the movement, the pressure as well as any point in your career? Just the way you're kind of moving within the pocket to buy an extra second to get the ball down the field.
Yeah, I think so. And our guys are doing just such a great job protecting that. There isn't often times where I do need to move. So when it happens, it's very rare, and those feelings are very different when it's a clean pocket and when there's some pressure. I can tell the difference at this point with the type of O-line we have.
With an offensive like this, you guys had no let up out there. Is there a certain ruthlessness you have to have when you have so many offensive weapons? You just have to continue to pound it and pound it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, the reality was that they're a team that has less wins than us, and we could have played down to our competition in some ways, and we, not to disrespect them, they're a hell of a squad, but we wanted to play to our standard, nameless, faceless opponent, and that's not just them, that's every week. And I think we wanted to come out and yeah, stay on the gas the whole game, no matter what happened. And if it had been a closer game, we still would have stayed on the gas. But we talked about it all week, you know, holding our standard. What is our standard? And exceeding it and trying to push ourselves. And so, regardless of our opponent, you know, we did want to do that this week.
Your passing numbers were incredible. The rushing ability. If Jameer is Sonic and David is Knuckles, what does that make you? Are you Tails?
I don't know enough about the Sonic world to know who the third character would be. I'll let you decide, Brad. You can come up with somebody.
You guys, just talking about, you know, not playing out of the level of your opponent, you guys have rarely done that over the last couple of years. I guess, what do you attribute to always being ready and being able to actually carry out that game?
Yeah, I think just like the internal messaging, like I was just talking about, being intentional about knowing, like, all right, guys, like, you know, our team is really good, and we got a chance to go win this game, but not if we don't, you know, hold our standard. You know, it's human nature sometimes to do that, to play down a little bit, and we got to be intentional about it. You know, our team's dang good, and no matter who we play, we got to raise our level, raise our standard, and I think we talked about too. Like at this point of the season, you see teams. You know, you're kind of in that middle zone right before that playoff push comes. It's like, who do we want to say we are during the hard time? You know, this is kind of the dog days. You know, those weeks before those last 4 or 5 games post Thanksgiving. You know, who do we say we are? Are we that team we think we are? And let's go prove it.
The hook and ladder is starting to feel like a normal play. What goes into the level of comfort that goes into a play like that?
Yeah, we ran it a few times in practice, and it looked good. And once it looks good, Ben's comfortable with it, and we're all comfortable with it. And yeah, it becomes pretty effortless at that point to make it work. But there was more to be had on that one, unfortunately. But yeah, we executed pretty well.
Can you walk me through just a couple of your touchdowns? The one to Brock looked like he was your third or fourth option, and the first one to Amara, maybe Jamo took 2 defenders, if I'm remembering that right. So it's sort of an example of what you're talking about, of having all these weapons and everything working together, and kind of how, you know, one player.
Sure. Yeah, I think the best way, exactly what you're saying. Like, if I get to the third or fourth in the progression, it's a good player. You know, and that's not the case everywhere, and I don't take that for granted. You know, it is something that we have a luxury to do with the skill players we have, and the O-line being able to protect long enough for me to get to the third and fourth progression. It's often a good player that can do something with the ball.